Okay. Let's see how it goes this time. Last time it seemed like the microphone was very quiet. And now we're seeing. Can you? Let's see if this helps things out. So, it's sure nice to be heard. We are working on our. Sure, I'll need it back because my reference photo is on the phone. Well, what I'm seeing here from Mike is that it shows one green dot, and it's not bouncing up and down as I'm talking in it, which would indicate to me like there is something strange in the neighborhood with the sound settings. Okay? So, okay, so you probably want to leave that. Yeah, because microphones do pick up ambient sounds a little, including the feedback from the phone. Yeah. Now let's see if I can get the. Oh, there it goes. The side buttons put in the live, put back and forth the live chat. Okay, so now we're finished with this nonsense. So today, let's go to the side. Wow, that's more orange. Starting off. Ooh, that's yellow. Okay. This auto exposure is okay. So what we're trying to do is we're going to try to take these crab earrings bought here at Three Gear Studios, and we're trying to get it to match this lady's necklace. So this is my reference picture off my phone. Um, and so we're going to do a little bit of painting to match. So first thing to note, it's a lot of detail on this. The crab earrings off of here. Loose. And that way I can get the backs, which I know is these crab earrings have this um this nice shiny resin finish to it. I think I am going to start off by fishing into my paint cabinet, which I so conveniently blocked in. Ah, moving stuff. What am I catching on? I didn't pull my paints out of storage. So actually out because we're so well organized. Needed beforehand and decided to leave it in the deepest in middle of the light. Mind you, we did not put the cameras on the adventurers seeking out our deep dark mysteries in middle of dungeons and stuff like that. No, we have the camera on the project waiting for the adventurers, the stuff that with the stuff that we want. And so this brush on, because I'm kind of thinking that the finish on the crab is very slick, and it would be paint to kind of grab onto it. So I'm starting with a brush on primer, which is generally good advice when you're painting just about everything, to start off with a brush on primer in order to prepare the surface. I'm shaking up the primer right now. Yep. Yeah, there's clay kind of in between so I'm gonna have to figure out how to show the legs and minimized or properly represent the that extra stuff between the legs, because the original necklace is metal, kind of keeps different properties than metal. Like, trying to decide if that's silver or gold. That looks like a very light white gold. So I might just because it looks like what it is that that it was plated in like white gold. Trying to position it so you can see it at home. It looks plated in white gold, and then had glazes put over it in order to make the color, with the only real painted feature being the those lines on the shell. Ew. I hope I can do it because this. Okay, so we're gonna put some of the primer here, which is gonna give it a nice gray color. And I will take our friend that you've probably haven't seen and using the dry brush. Just other brushes I like better than this dry brush, but with as thick as the head is, it makes for a brush for when I just want to put a lot of paint down. Despite its name, I'm going to wet it a little bit so it's no longer a dry brush. Dry brush, you'll always be a dry brush to me. Kind of wish I had something with an alligator clip. Man, just applying this is causing this to. But you can see here where even the primer is kind of going on thinly.
I need to not see what's in the bag, but there is one green, not quite a cube in there that needs to come out and be replaced with a full cube.
So it's a half a green cube?
Yeah.
And I'm going to get the inside too here because, like I said, extra fanciness. Um,
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to pull you down. Alright, that's fine.
Again, I need to not look at see it.
Kind of broken a little bit. But if you just shake the bag after you shake it out, will it get all mixed up again?
He doesn't want to know the
The exact
proportions.
Oh. Okay, well, here's the broken green one.
You have a broken token.
No, we have a broken cube.
Okay, I'm gonna stick this into my base to try to hold it in place while it dries, and then I'm gonna go over to the other one, take off the earring back. Really painted earrings like this before. I'm just confident that I can. Oh no. Let's bring in some protector for the surface because this is kind of messy. Since I'm just kind of globbing this stuff on, um, this should prevent me from messing up my tabletop because no one wants a messy tabletop. Painty, paint, paint, painty, paint, paint. Painting some more. Awesome. Okay, and then using that in order to once again push that in. Be even better if this was like a cork board or something like that. Okay, so I'm gonna actually move this over a little bit. So
I've been using. You want a
was gonna use a toothpick. Toothpicks are usually, but just to try to settle these. Okay, so we're giving it a moment. Cleaning the dry brush so we can make it dry, so we can let the dry brush dry out. Now, very glossy, very shiny. See, I'm tempted to think that the thing to do is to first get the white gold, and then try to go and do everything else. Um, Fancy with this, fancy, which is fine. Someone's going to reach down and get my bottom shelf special effects paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bright and maybe mix in some of the shining silver. No, I think that'll go. I already got the metallics covered, so no need to double dip the metallics because metallics are expensive, and we don't. I think I'm gonna mix in some matte white to the whole thing. coats are going to go into, which is interesting because I usually like working from dark to, but this time I'm kind of working the other way around where I'm going light to dark. I think there's parts of the details of this that I really don't care about, like all those bumps in the claw in the crab claw. Not that worried about. Side of the shell, that I am going to worry about. It's the big details versus the little details. Is I'm going to paint with gold. Might well just be a whole bunch of washes using. I'm being told my connection's being unstable. Please wait while they try to do something about it. Okay. Well, it looks like we're back on. Paint. So there's a blob of matte white. Gleaming bright gold. Bright gold is what we're using. And then I'm in order to mix them together. And as expected, the paling out as I mix in the white. Need a little more gold. Gonna have to play with it back and forth. That probably is good. And I'm just gonna try. There's gonna be a number of things that's gonna give this crab its fish. I am not happy with how this is being held. Real quickly, is there anything else I can use? Nope. Well, we'll move on. No. There we go. A little bit more darkness on the whole thing. Let me clean this brush because I'm not happy with how this is coming out. And I'm going to be painting primary goal. Oh, look at that. I think I'm going to put this one down for a little bit. First, I'm going to wipe it off with the color and then just kind of, I'm literally just wiping off the paint that I got. And you can see we might have issues with our primer. Well, I'm going to take a moment to wipe off what I can on this one. And then I think I might put on another coat of that brush on primer. I might have to treat this crab before. I might have to do a treatment on this crab before I actually put on the while I'm priming it. Just show even when the project seems simple, it still might have its complications. Chances are I just didn't let the primer dry enough. So this is the kind of thing that we do hear every now and then, where someone comes in and it's like, I like this, but I want a different color. Um, so, and so we can just paint and refinish the color to the taste of the people. These particular earrings were made by Deco and Dice, which is Lena's jewelry brand. Um, all the pieces are handmade by her. Um, excuse me. All the pieces are handmade by Lena, and um, and then we sell it in our shop here in Three Gear Studios. Okay, so again, putting in there so you can actually see some of the details. Let's focus for me actually holding these things because that might be the easiest way. There we go. Okay, so this time I'm just going to go straight, putting on the bright gold onto it, which is kind of going on thinly. But and it's not as pale as the original necklace, but I might not be able to do that. Or there might be other things that can add that paleness. I mean, heck, someone might be like, stupid, paint it white and then get the gleam in the top coat, which that was another option. It's so shiny, like a crab in a Disney flick, who always sings. And it's so shiny. So, once again, I'm being fancy and painting the undercarriage of this thing. I'll probably keep it gold, but I'm going to try to get it even enough. And the way you get the even coats is lots of thin layers. Because if you put it on too thick, or if you put it on too fast, then you just start pushing around the paint. Which honestly, at the speeds that I go, happens more often than not. So now I'm going to stick this one into the thing. Hope this one had enough time to dry. I'm not. No, that's the crab itself. Okay. While I'm doing this, I'm also looking um, at the original and trying to make guess on how they do it, because those guess on how they did it might inform how I can do it. Ooh, my fluorescents are getting caught in my phone. And of course, being here in Maryland, we're big in our crabs. Um,
Oh, welcome back. Let me know if you need anything.
So painting it gold like Tamatoro.
Hanging out in the milk today. Hanging out in the milk today.
Filling in the back here.
So games and puzzles and handmade art. We've got.
Yeah.
You might start selling some iced coffee soon. We should pick some up next time. We got Coke. We should definitely bring back in the Starbucks ice drinks.
I just wanted to make sure that we're getting people back in fast enough that,
I think we are.
yeah.
And also, yeah, the snacks are. At least those are low.
So I guess I'm going to have to make another trip to pick up more snacks.
What's your favorite
Okay.
gamer snack?
Okay, so Lena just shouted in a question for everyone. What is your favorite gamer snack? Put it in the chat. I know that my growing up, my family always served up baby carrots. Actually, I know unusually healthy, but that's what we used to always do is baby carrots, or popcorn, or both.
I like the popcorn.
Lena's puts a vote towards popcorn.
I'm a popcorn addict. That's why.
Giving our crabs a moment to dry. I am actually a little bit worried that I might have.
Put it very heavy with the gold.
Well, I had a theory. I have a theory.
You know, sometimes I'll put them in same thing.
So next I'm gonna go and figure out which. I think I'm gonna use my insane detail brush in order to do these top coats. Those don't look like black lines on the sample photo. So what I'm betting, this this back claw is kind of giving me a hint. I bet you that they're using greens as those lines. And then it muted out into this browner color when they put the red glaze over it. That's what you get from learning your color wheel.
I had a little thing of foam that makes it easy to push those into so you can paint.
I mean,
Huh?
if you can scare that up, that would be awesome.
Foam is like
Particularly since having the white backgrounds is really good for being able to see the details of what we're doing. So, shaking up the green, licking the brush like I'm not supposed to.
it's one of those things that are always in your face until you need it.
Yep, that's totally what that is. I think I'm going to keep the back gold. The store mascot's looking at me. She just woke up. Okay, wetting the brush. I'm using the insane detail, and I'm using this Angel
Oh,
green.
there it goes. Bridget was using it. These are all dry now, though.
Lena just gave me a phone box to put these guys in.
Keep it from moving around, and you have to be extra careful knocking it over.
I think these guys are still going to spin on me. Okay. Believe it or not, I think painting the design on the shell is going to be the easy part. Ah, because that is just kind of a top coat. And honestly, if you do a basic approximation, that's going to be impressive enough for most people. They'd be like, wow, what detail, because you put in a little, and you don't even have to cover all the dots. That said, I got 2 shots on this. Um, I am not happy with some of that line work. Let's see if we can improve it. So for line work like this, there's a lot of things you can do. First of all, this is one of those things where practice makes perfect. And I've heard of people going as far as writing letters with their paintbrushes to practice their line work. I am not happy with that line work. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is clean my brush. I'm going to start a little bit higher up. Pick what is going on with my light. Okay, there's that one. Next is that one. is that one that actually goes a little bit longer this way. And then a shorter middle line. And then a little boom, boom, little seagull, and a dot. So one of my problems is since I started where I did, some of those details, the spacing was off. Yeah, there I am. I'm happy with that. There's a few other dots in the original one, but not as many. So I'm going to clean my brush and continue narrating everything I'm doing. um, where did my standard brush go? Oh, there it is. No, that's the dry brush. Grabbing my, I don't want that one. No, I can't find the one that I was looking for. So I am grabbing my Regiment, which is also just a very standard brush. And I don't want to wire it down because I'm covering stuff up. I'm going to paint just the back. In a lot of ways, doing this is going to be just a surface, figuring out where everything in general is, and then just putting on surface treatments. I'm going to have to leave that a moment in order to dry before I continue. I could probably do the surface treatment on that one, but whatever. Okay, while we wait for that to dry, I am going to go and start painting some of these other green lines in here. Because it looks like they used green to kind of, these green lines to kind of put some depth in there. So I'm going to try to strategically use some green lines where we want to see a large amount of shadow. So I'm kind of drawing a line. Yeah, just like that. And then we can't do all of the same joints because it's a different base sculpt. But we still want to give that idea. So I'm going to give a little line here and here. And a couple little dots here, 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 here. And these are just to emphasize the joints. Here and here. Okay, clean my brush. And while I go and do the next one, I'm gonna have to think about how I want to proceed on this one, because like I said before, this seems to be one where this seems to be one where they used the where they used glaze to give you the color, which makes sense. It was a metal pendant. Glazes on metal are classic ways to color metal. If you don't want to get super fancy and like hit them with electricity with the right chemicals in order to make sure that it gives colors. Um, I'm starting to think that I should just use that dark green as the. Oh well. So the question is should I paint the surface color before I go in with the washes and glaze, or should I try to use the washes to give the surface color? That's the question. Okay, so first at top, and then a slightly curved little arc, then a longer arc, it's like these handmade things. No two are the same, and that includes the pair of earrings. Each side of the pair is going to be slightly different. Small line. A seagull. And then dot. Because of the space, I'm only doing one dot on that side. Clean my brush. I'm having trouble. Keeps on wanting to. The single tip wants to become two tips, which often is a sign that I have used my brushes. And then a dot there and a dot there. Okay. Then wash the brush, dip again. Get these shadow lines. Now, whatever I do, when I add in the colors, it needs to be really thin. It's like doing a face, but it's all face. A line there, a line there to kind of add shadow to this claw. And then real lightly. Boop. Boom. 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 Wish I had a third earring that I could just test on. you know, okay. You know, I am going to start off with not the flesh wash, not the dark, not any of the metallics, green tone, and red tone. Strike that. But I think that's what I'm going to do. But there's a few things that's on here. There's some really dark lines on that claw to kind of signify it as a claw. And there's some really dark dots on the eyes. And I think that calls for some matte black. Um, and I'm going to use this in order to make sure that some important details are nice and dark to keep its shape, even after we start getting into this. So for instance, I am going to use some of this matte black for the beady little eyes. And then to maintain the shape of the inside of the claw. And again, the reason to do that is to just make sure that those key areas you can continue seeing the fact that that is a claw, indeed. Might pull that line a little bit further back. And that indeed those are the eyes. So there you go. I know what I might do, but first, the part that I'm a little bit nervous about. Again, taking a breath. I'm gonna put some lemonade before I take this breath because it is a hot day. It's a really hot day. And because okay, so what we got is we got a bunch of red spots with this few streaks of yellow of green. And the green is centered at the joints. That's interesting. Okay. So I think I'm going to start because the most important thing is to get the feel of the necklace across. So it feels like a match. I think what I'm going to do, because it's independent of the green, is I'm going to use the main back of the shell that also has the least detail that can be lost if something were to go wrong, which, it might. Put some down. I'm going to go back to my regimental brush because I kind of want I want the brush to just hold a lot. And I'm going to paint it on the center. Okay, I actually have some liberty on this one. So getting a drop right here. And what I'm seeing is that this is actually, as well as these crabs being stubborn about going whichever way they want to. There we go. We just needed enough of it on there at a time. And I'm just going to keep on dabbing this on until it fills the space. Because I kind of want it to look liquidy just like it does in the original piece. And I think it actually affords me a lot of control with how it goes on. Just a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so now doing the same thing. Of course, I stick my finger in my black. Okay. That actually got real thick real fast. So I'm not going to do this as much. Next, I'm going to go on to the legs, which this one gets a little bit more difficult because the three-dimensionality isn't quite there. And I'm just kind of dabbing it on there. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Just real light dabs. Really not taking much time at all to apply. This is interesting because what I'm used to doing is these detailed miniatures where it's like, here's a captured piece, here's some details here, look how we put that together, here's some details there, look how we put that together, and all that stuff. This one, it's a lot more of capturing the feel of something and trying to paint to match to that. There we go. Some real nice, gentle application. I'm just thickening these out because it's kind of a thicker arm. And right there with how the center is coming out, I'm feeling justified in my decision to do it like that. Um, in some ways, it would almost be easier if it was just like about capturing details instead of capturing the feel of the piece. Putting a little color there. And I'm still kind of yeah, I'm getting a little bit more bleed between the limbs on this one, which isn't great, all things considered. But there you go. Again, comparison shot. It was a lot smaller on the original piece. I wonder if there's a way I can do that. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Okay. And starting in with that. I'm going to start with this upper crab because it had more time to dry. And starting in the largest area to work with, which is the claw, upper claw. Just add a little bit of green there. And then a little bit there. A little bit there. And then the end here. And this is all happening with washes, which are paints that are made to go into gaps. So we're, in order to get that kind of liquidy glazed look, we're kind of asking the paint to do something that it's not made to do. And right off the bat, I'm running into two problems. One is it's coming, a lot of this stuff is just as expected, is coming off as a bunch of little blobs. So I am going to I'm going to let these guys sit for a moment while I talk over the two problems. First of all, is that it is kind of coming off with like a whole bunch of little blobs. So I think I have
It looks pretty cool to me.
the basic colors. I kind of feel like I need to get some cuts in there in order to try to help define some of the blobs so that they don't look quite so blobby. Um, and there's several ways to do that, including just plain cutting back on some of the gold or painting over the gold, doing another surface over top of the washes in order to do that. Also, a lot of the gold in the original piece kind of is and takes on an outline. Um, and these ones aren't really outlined by the gold. They are gold with color added to them. What I am seeing is like up here on that piece, you can real lightly see some darkness around the edges. That too, where I thought that it was and so I'm thinking that maybe there that black was moved in there. But I don't want to take away from those beady little eyes, but it does look similar to those beady little eyes. And there's another line, just little dots across there, still keeping the gold as the gold. Um, but putting that definition between the legs. The other thing is it's going to be held up against an ear.
This art component returned to circle and done. Are those a special order?
Two of them are.
Are they in our system already? They have to be, right?
I think so. Maybe. Um,
Hey,
so, not what? Um, because I want it light against the ear, but I don't want the negative space to jump between things. Um, I think what I'm gonna have to do is do more. You know what? Keep the signing silver on the standby. I'm going to pull up the dark tone. This is almost a black. And that's the idea that I'm having here is that I'm going to use the dark tone in order to get some darkness in there to define the limbs a little bit more. And the places I don't want people to pay attention to. Because like I said, what these tones are made for is to suck into the gaps. We're using it because I wanted also this liquidy texture to the color. But in this case, this is using the dark tone to do just what it's made to do. So I think that's what I'm going to try to do. And I'm going to first test this between the first and second claw. This one does not. And what I'm hoping for is it draws things back without muddying them. But because it's like such a dark translucent color, it sure looks like it's muddying them. Okay, so as long as we're in the mood of experimentation, on the opposite side, I am going to do the opposite approach, which is just to lighten it. Because like I said, this looks like a white gold. So I am putting in the shining silver, which is supposed to be a really shiny silver. And I am going to try it over here. Which I kind of like more of that definition that it gives. You still get that gold feeling, but it also brings out the lightness of the gold, of some of the other golds. So I think that's a technique I'm going to use in order to try to add some definition to some of these blobby parts. You know what they say, 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
My shoe. No. You have a field day with that shoe.
Any damage? And down in here. And you know what? I'm even going to do this. Thin it down. But I'm even going to do this in the claws where we put that black. This might well be a play in metallics. Because once again, overall, I want it to feel gold, but it's a really white gold, so it's a really light gold. One thing I'm definitely going to have to ask myself is, do I want to go over with the reds or the greens any more than has already happened in order to reinforce some of those colors? Let's do that comparison. Trying to get it so that's about the same size. Okay, I'm going to call for a second opinion. Can I borrow you second opinion? The second opinion said that I need to wait 1 second. So just looking at here, I'm thinking that the red.
Can I mean, can you pick it up and give it to me?
I was just gonna move out of your way so you can see them all next to each other.
Walk around all this stuff. Yeah, see, I know what the reference looks like. It's very bright, very vibrant.
And what I'm thinking is I didn't catch that vibrancy with. Yeah,
What are the black lines about?
there's actually lines in the original piece.
Oh, can I see it? Mixing, coloring it with resin. How? Because that gets so bright.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is, okay, so what we need to do is we need to, particularly that center point and a few other points around. So there's a few key points here.
I don't want to mess up your brushes.
Yeah, I know,
You would have to use a toothpick.
which we're out of. So the big thing is that right now there's a lot more original piece pop.
Brightest red you got.
So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take that silver in order to do some outlining, and then I'm going to go and get a diluted red pop here, so that it get that bright pop with it without and try to get that. But first things first is going to be causing.
The most vibrant.
Yeah, because at this point we captured it, but it's dull. And so what we need to do is make it pop. That's actually why they used red and green, is because red next to green pops. And I think if I used a base of silver instead of gold, um, everything would have popped. I think we might have been able to keep that pop of color. Why do you keep on splitting on me, brush? Because I don't take care of you very well. So we're going to draw that there, and then an inward curve here. Trying to shape that. I don't think these crab earrings mimic that soft shell crab look. And that inward curve there. Outline. And then inward curve. And then inward curve. So the thing is that we want these colors still to go on thin because, you know, we did a lot of groundwork, but we do want them to pop. So out of these, not that one. Varnishes, but that's not what I'm after. What I'm after is a mixing medium, which they have the quick save wash mixing medium, which is not quite what we're after, but we're after something similar to that. Nope, we're not looking for spaceship exterior either. Because ultimately what I'm trying to do is yeah, we talked about this. What kills me is that I swear I used this mixing medium on the last project. And now I might not have put it away properly. War paint mixing medium. So what this just, you know, when you turn your bottle over, you squirt it out and you just get this clear liquid. War paint mixing medium, it's made to allow you to colors, preserve colors, and all that stuff. In this case, I am going to try to use the brightest red in my arsenal, which is Vallejo's Beryllium, which we get from they've been using it in a lot of their painting kits. Yeah, we don't have a ship date on that one still. Yeah, well, no, not yet. The next paint night, that kit that we're supposed to get in is a Death Tyrant, but because of shipping delays from China, it's supposed to come in. So Open, darn you, open. Close, darn you, so I can shake you. Always shake your paints. Okay, there we go. And then again, using that regimental brush, tap some of that beryllium, mix it in with the war paint mixing medium. Man, that's bright. Okay, that should do it. And I'm just going to go over it. No, not bright enough. It's redder. Which actually, I guess on that one isn't that bad. Okay, and doing it up on the. And I'm just trying to hit the places where it seems that red is just really red. Okay, there. I'm worried that I might have covered up some of the line work that we did on that one. So I'm going to clean off my brush and I'm going to try to actually pick up some of this beryllium. Yeah. You know what? I think we can get the real thin brush and just get some of that on the tips of these crab legs. Again, just to try to make them up. I probably did some of these steps backwards, but you know. This has me so intense, I'm rising out of my chair. Kind of like where the claws are. Um, So yeah. Okay. And now we need a comparable color for the green. The green tone that we used was a very foresty green, but we need this to be even more of a brighter green, a more vibrant green. It needs to have a green with some life into it. So ultimately, we're going to be trying to do the same kind of thing. Um, I am seeing a lot of yellow in that green, but it's not quite a witch brew. Maybe no. See, it kind of fits the top of that of the disgusting slime, but we know that the bottom is the real color of the disgusting slime. Um, maybe Kraken skin. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it with the Kraken skin. So shake, shake, shake. Again, the same thing with the vermilion. No, now that I look at it all shaken up and stuff like that, I don't know if I'm sold on that one. Let's see what the it's almost too washed out with the Kraken skin. So let's try the snake scale. Yeah, I think the snake scale might be more of what we're looking for. So again, mixing some in with the mixing varnish. And this one I'm going to target more on the legs because that seems to be where a lot of the vibrancy is. Mm. Having a little bit more trouble controlling this one. I'm gonna mix in some of that dark angel, some of that angel green with the snakeskin because the snakeskin is nice and all, but it's missing something. And that something is so gonna come out when we come up here. Now, I think on the claws, it ended up being more of that straight angel green. Ah, drop my brush. I think either way, these things are verging their way onto overworked. So I'm gonna use the snake skin on the legs of this other one to give them that definition that we were talking about. Um,
That Arkham horror game has tarot cards in it.
I think that's where we're ending up, right there.
What?
So
Not working?
I think I got it more than I didn't. And it carries a lot of that lightness and the feel from the both of them. I think the last thing I'm gonna do to one thing that this pendant had that I don't feel like I did quite justice is detail right there. You know what? I think we're gonna get some of that bright gold, and again going to our friend mixing medium and seeing if I can just a little bit of a gradation of gold right on the tips there to get that pop or that nice gradation there. Um, it's almost like what I should have done is I should have put the gold on, mixed the gold with the war paint or the quick shade medium. And just pull a real little bit of that up. Mm. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, there you have it. Now, the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to give this some time to dry off camera. Oh no, it needs some time to dry. And then we're going to hit it with some resin in order and put it in under the UV lamp. But that's going to be some changing and some setups. And unfortunately, I can't fit the streaming setup and the UV light on this table at the same time right now. So with that, we're going to have to call it a do. And I I hope that they I hope that the person who commissioned this likes it. So, if you like what you see here, please hit that bell, um, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Find us on all the wilds of the internet under 3 Gears Studios or 3 Gears Games, which should be able to lead you to our website, Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, and all the other places that is on the internet. Where the cool kids are, because I'm being harassed to say that. Um, Next week, I swear to the four winds, we're gonna try to do this lady and fix her up. I want to do this week, but then I got this commission, and I was like, sure, let's go and paint this commission. Um, and we will see you next time. Bye.